Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. I'm your host, James Windsor-Smith, and today we're working on an abstract cerebus for Cerebus Appreciation Month over at Outstanding. So, as you can see, I've already kind of started this. I've only really done this for like maybe 2 minutes, believe it or not. I've drawn this character so many times over the years that it's kind of nothing to me. Getting this ink on the crow quill is another story. Let me try again. There we go. Getting a little nuts on this one. I was thinking for all the videos I draw this month, it's all going to go into one contest. So if you happen to win the contest in the last video, which is basically just to say that you liked the video on YouTube, because it doesn't tell you who pressed like. So if you say it, your name will be entered to win basically the art of the last piece and any pieces I do for this whole month. So just say liked on that video or any video forward. Eventually I'll draw a name out of a hat basically, or probably out of a basket or something. And if you win, then you win everything. The good and the bad and the ugly. Just one way of appreciating the fans, really. Size aren't crazy enough. The rules of the contest are basically just that you have to be a member of the group. Other than that, anything goes. I promise it will be a legit drawing. I'm not playing favorites. I'm using a Hunt 107. If anyone out there is curious. I usually use a 102 or an Estabrook pen. I forget which nib number, but the equivalent of a 102. But 107 was handy the other day, so I went with it. Okay, now we wait for this to dry a little bit. So we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The ink, I think, is pretty dry now. So it's time to start coloring this. I'm going to start with dark aquamarine. Now keep in mind these are watercolor pencils, as always. So we're going to put these down and then add some water. Right now I'm spacing them out a little bit because I want the outside to have a limited color palette of similar colors. I don't want them to be too near each other. Kind of like a checkerboard, at least. You want them at least a little spaced apart. Going here on the vest a little bit. There we are. If the lines are not meeting up, it doesn't matter. Just put it close enough. As you can see, there's a little gap there. Well, here's a big gap. This is an unclosed section here. Fill this in. And there we go. We're actually done with that color. But I'm going to put that on the side in case there's a future use that I'm not thinking of. Then we have a deep rose. Now, we want to do something similar to the last time where you space things out, but you also want to space them out from the blue if you can. So I'm not even sure if that's possible. Let's see. Yeah, it's just not enough spaces here. So disregard that I said anything. But you do want to leave some white space because that acts as an actual color itself. Then you have blue, rose, and white. Okay, now on to the main body. You want to use colors that are similar to gray or to brown, the way that cerebus would normally be. Let me see what we have here. Okay, I have a charcoal gray. Now do the same thing you did on the outside, on the inside, and fill in every few gaps with that color. Don't worry about the ink. For the most part, I rarely have problem adding water. This is a non-water soluble ink. So you can go to town with this stuff. So I'm not talking very much. I'm kind of in the zone. I'm thinking about what I'm doing as I go here. Okay, now we need another form of gray or something similar. There's sepia ink, that's a bit too dark. And that's ink black, that's way too dark. Here's neutral gray. Okay. Here's a nice big piece here. These grays might just blend together with the other shade of gray. But here's hoping for the best. This is kind of like playing with the idea of cerebus. You look at this blob and you can recognize the character. At least super fans can. Like Margaret. Shout out to Margaret. Margaret Liss. She runs cerebusfangirl.com. It's really a great website. It has basically everything that Dave Sim ever wrote in essay form. You can pretty much find there. At least in the bulk of the series. I don't know if she wrote his any of his aftermath stuff, anything that came after Cerebus. But there's a free plug for you, Margaret. Oh, I switched to brown while I was talking. I think the brown adds a bit to the gray there. All right, we're going to fill in the eye area, which joins together. We're going to fill that in as brown. Now some of this brown goes on the outside as well. There are no rules to doing this. It's just winging it and having fun. I like abstract artists like Picasso and Modigliani. How do you feel about them? Are they up to your standards? Do you like them as well? Okay, let's see here. All right. Let's not use blue. What am I looking at here? All right, this is violet. Let's just try a little bit of it around the edges. That way, if it is not a successful color, it doesn't really affect the main body of work, which is the main body of Cerebus. It seems my browns have gotten mixed up with the rest of my colors. It comes from too much rushing while I'm doing art. But here's bark. Seems like a nice place to go between gray and between brown. Of course, we don't know how this is going to look until we're actually done with the piece. Once you add the water, anything goes. I mean, you have a bit of foresight from previous experience, but you never know what's going to happen with these combinations. Alright, here is leaf green. We'll add a bit of contrast here without being overpowering. Of course, we're covering up the bigger areas now. We're kind of wrapping up the colors. There are a few spots I still want to fill in, but I might go back and reuse some of the colors we already went through, just to keep it limited in palette. And just like the outside, you want to leave some white areas, just not as many. Okay. This is the gray again. That won't work. Well, let's go crazy. Let's use thistle. It's a reddish purplish color, as you can see. Might be a little overpowering here. I'm sorry to whoever wins the contest, but whatever comes out is what it is. Okay, let's look at this piece all together here. It's not bad, but let's see what happens when we add the water to it. Jump from the same color to the same color at first. You don't want to mix up any residue of the last color you used. Then move on to similar colors. I'd say this mauve is very similar to the purpley colors. I do notice that I think the gray is overlapping with the mauve. It's not really the ink itself. I keep cleaning off my brush a bit by wiping it down just to get rid of the residue. Then on to the grays. That might be a bark color. I forget what I used there. But certainly not gray. That green kind of popped. I think I'll upload this to the Cerebus website as well. I think people will have some fun with this one. Then we go to the blue. See, I went over gray there with the blue on it, and it came out as a mixture of the gray and blue. I forgot the eyes. Just look at it and see if there's any other spots you might have missed. Okay. That's as good as that's gonna get. So let that dry a little bit, and I'll be back to do white highlights. Okay, now we're back with a white gel pen here. I don't know what brand it is because it's in Japanese. It doesn't matter, it seems dead. Let's switch to a more modern brand. This is Art and Fly. They seem to be working out for me pretty good. I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but from where I'm looking, it looks pretty good. Alright. One last thing, we're going to go over the ink lines a little bit and highlight the shape of cerebus a little bit. I think it adds a bit to it. It's a lot easier to make this blob into cerebus when you can actually see the outlines. Alright, one last blow of my acrylic quill. And I think we're done. Alright, I'm going to upload this video and upload this drawing, and congratulations to whoever wins it. Don't forget to press like and say like in the comments below. And we'll see you next time on the Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence.